get into our NFL power rankings before we do our weekly picks. We will just go ahead and jump right into it. Colin, I'm going to start with you again. For this one, week picks will start in different directions, but for this one, I want to hear your top teams in the NFL, top 5, plus your just missed category.
All right, so I made this list early this morning, and I have 4 or 5 teams, my honorable mentions, just because I really couldn't narrow it down to a couple.
Sure.
So these are just missing the top 5 by 5, so this is really kind of like my top 10-ish, but
okay.
No rank. New York Giants.
Yeah.
I've been saying they're frauds because I really don't think they've played that many quality teams, and they just beat the Packers, so I don't know how to think about that. But 4-1, I really can't ignore that. You got to beat who you play.
Yep.
So they're in the honorable mentions this week. Then a bunch of 3-2 teams I think can make the playoffs, but they kind of struggle as of late.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay, they did win, but it was ugly.
Yeah,
it was.
Baltimore, they did win, but it was kind of ugly. But division game, what do you expect?
Right.
Green Bay, even with the loss, they're still 3-2, and they're kind of that fringe team. Are they good? Are they not good?
They're hard to be on.
They're barely winning when they win, but then they're losing when they lose, obviously. And then Chargers are my last team that misses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on there. Is there internal drama with the players and Staley? Or
Staley just he does weird shit.
Why are you going for it when you're up by 2 on your own side of the field?
Keenan Allen's like, what are we doing?
The Browns have no timeouts. You just pin them deep.
Yeah, and then game over.
If Brissett doesn't throw that bad pick, they probably lose the game.
Yeah, they could lose.
So I don't know. I had to push them. They're close, but they're not in my top 5.
Yep.
All right, so top 5, Minnesota Vikings at 5.
Yeah.
4-1, they're rolling. They look pretty good doing it, although they did almost choke that game away on Sunday. But division rival, what do you expect? 4, Dallas Cowboys. They're in my top 5 for the first time.
Yep.
That defensive line looks really real.
Unreal.
Yeah, they're so good.
It's unreal how good they look.
Do I have them? They're nice.
Yeah, I wasn't buying it, but I guess I am now because the Rams are probably the best team they've played next to the Bucks.
Yeah.
Philly at 3. Although they're undefeated, they did make it close, and if Amendola or whatever his name is that got cut from the Chiefs is now probably going to be cut from the Cardinals.
Yeah. Yep, done.
And this is like a 40-ish yarder. Don't know exactly.
The Eagles sent it to OT. I will say Kyler probably deserves some blame for that.
Yeah,
sliding
early. Spiking out. You have time to look at what down it is.
Right, pay attention, man.
Did you give you the first or no? And they didn't.
He was busy thinking about double XP weekend.
He was.
I think there was only like 20-ish seconds too.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Run a playoff.
I know. Yeah, 100%. He's got to look over. I mean, I get into the last minute thinking it's close first down, but you got to look at what down it is.
See what they gave this spot was. Yeah.
I got Philly at 3. That's my best NFC teams at 3.
Okay.
Kansas City is my second team. They look so good. I don't care if they're down 17-0 in the first half.
You knew they were winning.
Yep.
I did think it was kind of dumb when they went. We talk about this all the time. When you're up 7 and you score, do you go for 2 to make it 9, or do you go for 1, which would make it 8, and you can't lose if you're up 8?
Yeah.
At worst, you're tying. I don't know if I agree with the call there in that spot. It almost cost them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it did.
I did like the Raiders going for 2.
That's an inch. Yeah, you go for it away team. Yeah, 100%.
Number 1, Buffalo Bill. I think they've been my number 1 every week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably deserve. They just blew the fucking doors off the Steelers.
It was bad.
Yeah.
350, 4 TDs a half.
Ugly.
He's on pace for 700 yards.
The Steelers are really bad.
Actually, the game of the week this week is
baby.
Yeah, I know. When I have to work.
Oh.
I think I'm developing a cough. Just for Sunday, though, because I work Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. If anybody from work's listening to this, I'm actually sick, I promise. I like it. Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, Cowboys, Vikings. Solid. All right. Sage, let's hear it.
All right, so for my honorable mentions, I got 2 of them. One of them be the Cowboys. The only thing that's kind of holding me back from it is quarterback play.
Sure.
Which is
understandable.
fairly valid.
Yeah.
Cooper Rush, he's done a great job holding down the fort. If you told me that you would have lost 1 game this whole time,
and it
was the one Dak played,
it was the one Dak game.
I never would have believed you.
Nope.
Never.
Thought the season was over, truly.
Yeah.
We sat here and said it.
That's done.
So, Micah Parsons, MVP of the league.
Yeah.
He's going crazy.
You got what, 6 sacks already?
I
like
heard a stat that in his first however many starts that he's had so far, he's passed Lawrence Taylor with the sacks, which is
that's crazy, man.
Absolutely insane. So congrats to you guys on this.
6 sacks, yeah.
I trade away my whole defense.
Prediction's looking pretty good for defensive player of the year.
Yeah,
he might be the favorite.
He should be the favorite, man. He should eat.
Number 6, I got the Bucks. The Bucks just have a solid defense. They know how to win. Even if the refs have them, aren't pulling for them,
taking money from them on the side. Who knows?
Hey, they have the refs in their back pocket. That gives them.
Can you bet against that?
Yeah, you can't bet against that.
You can't.
So that's why they're at my 6.
That's fair.
They have 12 men on the field.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Seriously.
Different 12 men. Number 5, going Baltimore.
Sure.
We're winning games, and we don't trail often. When we do, it's in the final 3 seconds.
Last
So-
second of the game.
Yeah,
We trailed for what was it?
14
seconds of game time
Coming
for
into
the
this
first
week.
4 weeks. Yeah,
and then we
that's-
only trailed for about a minute and a half against the Bengals.
So you trailed for the last 4 seconds of the first half, and then took the I'm sorry, 4 minutes. Yeah, four and a half minutes.
Yeah.
In this game.
Yeah.
That's
No, I'm dumb.
So we haven't trailed
Whatever.
much.
Not much at all. A
we
minute.
haven't trailed much.
2 minutes this
We
game.
know how to win games.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
For the most part, we know how to win most of the time in the game. If that makes any sense.
That's fair.
But I have faith in us. We're getting healthier, except for Marcus Williams going out.
Yeah,
But,
on the IR now.
hey, that's why we drafted Kyle Hamilton.
Yep.
You know, number 4 spot got the Niners.
Okay.
Niners are just taking care of business. They're just doing what they got to do to win games, and in their division, I think it's an easy enough division.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the Rams looking so pedestrian.
Exactly. So I really like the Niners. I think their biggest competition is the Seahawks right now, to be honest.
Yeah, it really probably is.
Yeah,
It's crazy to
with
say.
Geno being a top 5 quarterback in the league.
He is balling.
Yeah, he is.
balling out. He's the number 6 quarterback in fantasy.
Everybody's.
I just picked him up in fantasy.
Yeah.
Played against him this week, so.
Oh wow.
I have the Chiefs at 3.
Uh-huh.
They take care of business. They were down 17-0, and I looked. I was gonna bet on the Chiefs at one point, and then it wasn't worth it because it was like minus 135.
No, I
Yeah.
know that's.
And I was like-
you're gonna be down 14,
No.
and you know like, they're not gonna even
Coming
give you
back
a chance
and
to
winning.
get money because they know too.
Exactly. So I was like, even Vegas knows.
Mhm.
So I'm not gonna bet on him, or I'm not gonna bet against him. So yep, Chiefs number 3. Number 2 I have the Eagles.
Yep.
They're undefeated. How do you
Can't argue
put
that.
them out of at least number 2? You can only play who you're scheduled, but it got rough last week. Got a little scary, but they took care of business. And number 1, the Bills. I got a feeling that we're all gonna have something similar at the top spot. Yeah, don't look at me like that.
You
Nate.
might, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I swear if the Dolphins are up there.
Nope.
He's like, Tua's back, number 1.
Number 1, baby. He is back. He's on the practice field today.
Ooh.
And Xavier Howard is playing. Thank God.
Okay.
Thank God. Maybe we can stop something.
Yeah. Until someone shows me that the Bills can lose.
Did you not see enough week 3, dude? Let me not show you enough. You just
Bills-
gotta make their offense run 90 plays and gas
Yeah,
themselves
seriously.
out.
Right,
Just
right.
wear themselves out. Then don't break.
Right. You know, it's going to get colder soon. I don't
Yes,
think
it
they're
will.
going to be worried.
No, I don't think they should be. They're
All right.
fucking
Yeah,
insane.
I'm not worried about them. Number 1 team.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yep, I respect that. Yep. I've got 3 teams on my just missed out list. I've got San Francisco. I don't like their brand of football, and I don't want them to win because we have their first round pick. Trey Lance going out was the best thing that could have happened for them this season.
Mhm.
Now going
Yeah.
forward, who knows? Trey Lance was not going to win that many games. No offense to Trey Lance. He just wasn't. He wasn't ready.
He's
For
not
whatever
ready,
reason,
don't
he's
worry.
not the guy. Yeah, he might be. You never know.
I'll send it to him.
Yeah, you send it over there to them.
Yeah,
over
yeah.
here. So I got them just missing out. I've got Miami just missing out. You don't get to lose to the Jets and finish my top 5. I don't care if you're my favorite team in the world, which you are. You don't get to lose, even though the game was a lot closer than the score would predict. And Teddy Bridgewater got screwed in that game and taken out. I still think overall, when we're healthy, we're very good. And Tua's back on the practice field. Xavier Howard's back. Tyreek Hill's playing. Teron Armstead's playing this weekend. I like that. And I've also got Minnesota on my just missed out list, who were playing this weekend. They haven't super impressed me. Their best win was against the Packers week 1. Other than that, they have. Let me pull up their schedules really fast here. They lost the Eagles 24-7. Eagles are a good team. They beat the Lions barely, 24-28 on blown covers. They should have lost that game. They beat the Saints by 3 in London on a double doink. And then they lost to the Bears, or they beat the Bears by 7 at home, and the Bears could have very easily won that game.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk Cousins threw the game-winning touchdown rush with 2 minutes left in that game. The Bears had that game. They were winning with 2 minutes left in the game.
Yeah,
I think it was it 21-3 at one point?
it was.
Yeah.
It was 22-21.
And they
It
totally
was.
choked. Yeah, 22-21 Chicago, and then the Vikings got that game-winning touchdown. I don't think they're legit enough yet for me to have them in my top 5, but just missing out.
Fair.
Number 5, I've got Baltimore. They finally won a game at home. It's been a while, but good to win one at home.
Yeah, seriously.
Lamar Jackson continues to look like a monster, even though the Bengals defense is not talked about enough as being really good. They are really good this year.
Yeah.
That defense is very, very good.
Hubbard and
They have no reason to
they-
be 2 and 3.
No.
So I've got Baltimore at 5. I've got Dallas bumped up to my 4 spot. I said it last week. They haven't allowed 20 points. Guess what? They still haven't allowed 20 points. They held the Rams offense to 10 points. Micah Parsons, my defensive player of the year pick, is humming. 6 sacks through 5 games. Yeah. Absolute stud. That defense plays great, and the offense plays good complementary football. They don't turn the ball over. Cooper Rush, I don't think he's thrown a pick yet. He hasn't. He's only a couple passes away from passing Troy Aikman for the second most pass attempts without an interception in Cowboy history. Dak Prescott leads that by a sizable amount. But Cooper Rush is about to be second as long as he doesn't throw like a first pass pick. Which now he will, because I said something. Yeah. Idiot. Number 3 team, I've got Buffalo. Again, just because it's who I like, and obviously Philly and Kansas City are going to be 1 and 2 in whatever order when I get to that. Buffalo lost to us. You don't get to be number 1 bitches.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler, yeah. I'm sure it'll shock some people. I think this weekend's game, whoever wins between the Bills and Chiefs will be the number 1 team next week. Yeah. They're both fantastic teams. The Bills beat the Ravens on a comeback. Had to come back down, 17-0?
17, yeah.
They,
I think
it was.
Like, if you look at the Bills games, okay, they beat the shit out of the Rams. Rams stink.
Yeah.
They beat up on the Titans. Titans stink. Lost to us in Miami. Came back against the Ravens in a fortunate comeback to win that game, and then they beat the shit out of the Steelers. Steelers stink. I'm not impressed by any of their wins yet, except for the Ravens one.
See, the only thing I would say about the Bills is that they didn't win those games close, except for the Ravens.
No, they blew the shit out of all those other teams.
They took care of their business.
Which is what they should do.
Which is exactly what you should do if you're a great team.
Kenny Pickett's first ever start, you send him to Buffalo. That's
brutal. That's brutal.
How do you not say, hey, 1 more week, kid?
He's got 4 ahead, too, though. I mean, it's rough. Like, I think we talked about
their schedule is ugly.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Have fun, yeah. I mean, they're like -9.
Yeah, 8 point.
In
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, come on, that's bad.
And then they got us Sunday night.
Could have had a Trubisky revenge tour to Buffalo.
Come on,
yeah. Big mistake by Tomlin.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something today, real fast deviation. Someone said if the Panthers approached the Steelers with a trade for Mike Tomlin, 2 firsts and 2 seconds, do the Steelers take that?
I mean,
it's like the John Gruden trade. That was what I think the Bucks got that from the Raiders or from someone. Whenever John Gruden got traded, that was the trade. 2 firsts and 2 seconds. If I'm the Panthers and they say, hey, we'll give you Mike Tomlin, but you give us 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks for him, I consider it. Like, especially if he's on contract. If he's locked in for 4 years guaranteed as a head coach. Yeah. What do you do in that situation?
Well, Mike Tomlin just signed an extension.
So you get him with that extension.
Yes.
Yeah, but you have to give him 2 firsts and 2 seconds.
I would not take that across the Steelers.
You would take it if you were the Steelers?
He's worked with such little
2 firsts and 2 seconds is a lot. But it's a really high draft guy, especially because the Panthers suck. And the Panthers, it's so hard to find a good coach.
It's so
hard. It's an interesting one to think about,
Is it harder to find a coach or a quarterback?
Quarterback.
Yeah.
So,
but it's not a big gap.
You're getting the Panthers' first-round pick, which
I think
the
neither one they want to make that trade, just because Carolina's giving away such valuable draft capital, and then the Steelers, if they're trying to be good in a couple of years, you need Tomlin. If they're willing to blow it up.
I mean, but do we think the Steelers are going to be good in a couple of years? I don't know.
That's the question. They got to be in the market for a quarterback. They said, hey, Pickett, here's this tough schedule. Show something, or we're going to be good.
You can lose every game, but you got to look good.
You got to at least look decent. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But back to this. I got Philly at 2, undefeated. Again, they probably should have gone to at least overtime against the Cardinals. I wasn't super impressed with that win. They were down 14-0 to the Jags the week before, and the Jags just lost to the Texans. I really want to. I hate saying it because they're undefeated. Like, that's incredible. They're the only undefeated team in the NFL. But I just have not been impressed. This Sunday's game is going to really say a lot about the Philadelphia Eagles at home against the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be an awesome game. It's going to be an awesome game. Both teams are in my top 4, which is why I will then give Philly some credit if they pull that out. And then I'm staying with Kansas City at 1. Down big at home, come back, win. Kansas City looks very, very strong.
So you're telling me that the Buffalo Bills beat the shit out of most of their opponents and had a close game against you guys, which is also top 17
they lost, yes.
Right? Top 17 that they barely lost to.
Yep.
But the Chiefs can lose to the Colts and be your number 1 team.
Yes. Because
defend that real quick.
The Chiefs beat the Bucks 41-31. Is the Buccaneers defense good?
Yeah.
They put up 41 on them. They beat Arizona week 1 44-21. Arizona just took the undefeated Eagles damn near to overtime and they put up 44 on them.
Okay.
They beat the Chargers in a close game. I think the Chargers are better than we've seen. I think Colin has them in his top 7-ish. Chargers are a solid team. That's a divisional game. Divisional games are always tougher. And they just showed some good adversity by coming back, which I didn't knock the Bills for. The Bills came back against the Ravens. That's impressive to come back in that game. But they had to come back still. I think if head-to-head, and again, we'll see this Sunday, head-to-head, like I'm doing my power rankings on who I think wins in a game head-to-head. I would take Kansas City to beat Buffalo, and I'm taking Kansas City to beat Buffalo this weekend.
Okay.
But like I said, both teams are good. Both teams, like we have a matchup between my 1-3 team and my 2-4 team this
that's
weekend,
exciting.
and I
Nice.
fucking work.
That sucks.
God,
It's a good week to
I'm so calling it.
One of those are Sunday nights, though.
Yeah, it's true. I can watch that one. I'll be home to watch that
You'll
one.
race home to see the Eagles win by 30.
But that's what I've got as my top 5 and my +2. So, as
Oh, we'll go with my just miss. I got an A and B. The just miss B section, I got the Chargers and the Bucks. The Bucks, they were winning. I think it was 21-0 against Atlanta, but then they came back. It's 15-21, and a bailout flag. Not that Atlanta would have marched and scored, but they were in position and they had all momentum in the world. Chargers, Staley almost blew it. I did say that the game was going to be weird, just because they were traveling. It's the East Coast. They had to go all across the country. But he almost made he did make a really bad decision, but it didn't bite in the ass quite yet. So, it's not the worst decision, but still, that's questionable in that's why I got it just a little bit lower than a couple of teams at the just missed A section. Baltimore, we've pretty much all said why I think a couple losses, very tough. They're a very good offensive team. The defensive backs need to get healthy, but if they're all healthy, that Baltimore team's going to be scary. San Fran, Jimmy G, Nate, you said, the best thing possible for the 49ers was Trey Lance getting hurt. We want him to be healthy, but I'm going to have the G-Men up here as well. G-Men, big running game, good defense. Ooh. They had some big plays to make in that fourth quarter against Aaron Rodgers, and they made them. Yeah. Every right to be 4-1. They're balling right now. Danny Dimes, I was saying this guy was gone, and let's see how the season ends. But right now, 4-1, you can't deny. So I got him just missing my top 5. 5, I got Minnesota Vikings. I think the offense, Kirk Cousins showed that he can do it, but it was a 12 o'clock game. But he started out 17-17 against the Bears. We were missing Jalen Johnson still, though. Justin Jefferson had like 100+ yards, 10 catches in the first half. It was on pace to almost set like a record. He was out there, but it did slow down. But they have Dalvin Cook. Mattinson's a good second running back. I think they're a good enough team right now to be 5. 4, I just can't move them up from last week. It's where I had the Cowboys, and I still got them there just because they're 3 teams ahead of them. But that just solidified them more for me as a real contender. They're doing this with Cooper Rush throwing, like Colin said, for 110 passing yards, 10 completions. With the defense they have and the running game they have, it's been a little bit of a struggle to get it completely going in the running game, but they just look like a complete team, and you have Dak just waiting to get healthy. That's scary. 3, Kansas City. I just pretty much have a stalemate with these 1, 2, and 3. They're just not moving. Kansas City came back down 17. You almost, like I was saying, you knew they'd win. Yeah. It was against the Raiders. It's just a big divisional game. They need it. They're at home. Everything just started to roll their way a little bit besides that flag, but they still bounced back. It was close. Colin, like you said, that 2-point conversion, you like that from the Raiders, but they could have tied the damn ball game up with 4 minutes left. Yep. But Kansas City stopped them, and they held on, so I got to keep them at 3. 2, Buffalo. They kicked the Steelers' ass. That's no one's shocked there. Their offense. Josh Allen was on pace for 700 yards. If he played the same way for the second half, it would have been insane. Obviously he's not throwing 700, but the fact that he's on pace. Their defense, with injuries, still is performing. They're missing Micah Hyde, one of the best safeties in the league. That's huge. Have you noticed, though? Sort of, but not really. They're stepping up. The defense looks good. Their line is insane. So I got to keep them at 2. I think they're one of the best teams in the league. Their one loss, it's hindering them from being 1. For me, I got to keep Philly there. Yeah. Just undefeated. Arizona has looked better, especially defensively, since Kansas City slacked them week 1. So it was. I wish the game didn't get as close as it did for Philly, but Arizona's not as bad as I think their record looks, but they still are struggling in ways. But I think Philadelphia handled it. The missed field goal, it would have been OT, would have been interesting to see, but the team looked good overall. Jalen Hurts, he doesn't throw touchdowns, but he'll run into basically every game.
Guaranteed.
Their running game is insane. That's what they did last year. They just accepted it and turned it into a good team, and that's what they're doing this year. And you still have those weapons on the outside, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They have to throw. They can. But I just don't see how I can take Philly away from 1, so I got to keep them there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Seems like a consensus top 3 for sure.
Yeah,
Kansas City, Philadelphia, Buffalo, in any order you
They're
like.
just playing the best football right now.
Best 3 teams.
Yeah, Kansas City's a Super Bowl contending team every year. Bills basically the same, and Philly's undefeated, like we're all saying.
Yep.
How do you not have those
You
three?
can't have those right there. Those two teams are probably right now the most complete teams.